to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video, wherever you are, whatever you may be doing. Thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. If you jump on here live here on this Thursday evening, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. Down below, make sure to give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so and share the video on all social media platforms. I know there's college games going on right now, NFL game going on right now, but we've got to talk about all the college football coming up tomorrow and Saturday. And I feel like waiting till all of tonight's action goes final, it's just going to be too late in the evening. So I'm going to have to miss some of the current action to go ahead and do this video. But there's another week where we had college football Tuesday night and last night and tonight. I don't really think there's any game anybody cares about except they need to change Kennesaw State's nickname to the Kennesaw State Tuesday Nighters. I think they've played 3 consecutive Tuesday night football games, which is good for them because, you know, they're still a young, up-and-coming team that's not been around very long, and they were awful a couple of years ago. So they've had a quick turnaround, and they've looked really good the past 3 Tuesday nights. And if you're a die-hard college football fan, you're going to watch that game because there's not another one on. So it's good for them because, you know, they're in a small area, small school, young upstart program, and now they're playing on national TV in the middle of the week in prime time, and people will watch because they want football. So it's actually probably good for Kennesaw State, but 3 straight Tuesday night football games. But tomorrow night, ESPN2, 7 o'clock, Memphis and Rice, and then 7:30, ESPN, North Carolina and Syracuse. And we got to keep up with Memphis because with Boise State out of the question, and I think Tulane's out of the question unless they make a miraculous late season push in their conference. Hey there, Crystal. Glad to have you here. Hey there, Camacho. Glad to have you here. It looks like either Memphis, Navy, or North Texas is going to be the group of 5 team that gets a playoff spot. So we got to keep up with those teams. So Memphis plays tomorrow night. South Florida was looking really good, and then last week Memphis beat them, so it might have knocked the Bulls out of a playoff spot. And Crystal and Camacho, I think it's the first time I've seen y'all's name in the comment section. If it is y'all's first time being here for whatever reason made you tonight stop by the channel, thank you for doing so. And feel free to give the video a like, a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. And share the video on all social media platforms. Hey there, Samuel. Glad to have you here. And then coming up on Saturday, this is a week where there's a ton, at least in my opinion, of good games. But I don't know if there's a great game. So there's not a lot of awful games. I just don't know if we have any great games. To me, it's just a bunch of good football games. Now, the first one coming up on Saturday at noon. My day has been fantastic, Crystal. Hopefully yours has as well. Every day is a good day. Noon on Fox is Penn State and Ohio State. And when the season started, this is probably a game that everybody had circled on their calendar. And now, in the last month, Penn State's just fell apart. And Ohio State's offensive coordinator is supposedly a leading candidate for the Penn State job. Supposedly, the Nittany Lions want him bad. If that's the case, you may see Ohio State try to go out Saturday and put up 50 just so Brian Hartline can impress the Penn State people if he truly is a candidate. We have Vanderbilt and Texas on ABC, and you're right, Jim, and it all fell apart. I mean, quickly. They were 3-0, undefeated, and had that game against Oregon, and they had that game won and lost it, and they just fell apart. And I wouldn't say Clemson's season has been as bad as Penn State's because, I mean, you had a few people that thought Clemson was a playoff team, but I think it was kind of like last year where, they might get in, but not really any kind of threat. Whereas most people thought Penn State had a chance to win the national championship. So, yeah, I guess they're both disappointing in the fact that it's obvious neither team is going to the playoffs. But I don't think Clemson's is as bad as Penn State because I don't think anybody thought Clemson had a chance to win it all. And most people thought Penn State had a chance because they were so close last year and they brought back almost everybody they had, including the quarterback, which is supposed to be the most important piece. And they just fell apart. Hey there, Kevron. Glad to have you here. Haywood. Glad to have you back. And Random Guy. Glad to have you here. You are a Missouri fan. Well, thank you for being here, whether you're in Missouri or in California. It doesn't matter. Thank you for being here and supporting your Missouri Tigers, and tell your friends, tell your family about the channel. And Haywood, Oregon might be in the driver's seat most years, but this year, I don't know. They just don't look as elite to me this year as they had the last couple of years. Plus, I think Ohio State's better. I think Indiana's better. So if Oregon loses one more game, it might knock them out. But Random Guy, let me know how you think Missouri's season will finish. I know where they are right now, but as far as, where they will finish. And Vanderbilt, Texas on ABC, it's hard to believe you look at those two teams and think about that game and at least what you've seen so far this year. I would say Vanderbilt is a better football team. And if Vanderbilt can beat Texas, they have a really good shot at being 10-1 when they wrap up the season end of next month against Tennessee. And Diego Pavia in the offseason said, I'm returning to Nashville for a chance to win the national championship, and everybody thought he was crazy. And sure enough, they have a chance to win the national championship. And Jim, I never thought when the season started that Missouri was any better than 9-3, and that's still about where I think they finish. So I think they're probably in the same boat now as they were when the season started. I didn't think they were a playoff team. I didn't think they were a national championship team. I thought they were about a 9-3 football team, and that's about where I think they are. Maybe 8-4, but there's not really a huge gap between 9-3 and 8-4. Missouri, I mean, they're still a good football team, but they're just not an elite football team. Noon on ESPN, we have Miami and SMU. FS1, we have West Virginia and Houston. And with all these coaching vacancies opening up right now, I would say that Willie Fritz's name should be at the top of about everybody's list because he's another coach just like Wake Forest's coach, Jake Dickert. That's just a winner, and he wins everywhere he goes. And, Houston was awful just a couple of years ago, and they've turned it around this fast, and you watch them play, and they're not exceptional at anything, but they're not bad at anything. They're just an all-around good, solid football team. And Jim, I talked about that the other day here on the channel. Hey there, Chesley. Glad to have you back. I recall seeing your name a couple of nights ago here in the comment section. I talked about the other day, hey there, Harley. Glad to have you back. That, you might could sell me right now, Jim, on the national championship being Indiana and Vanderbilt. Not saying it's going to happen, but you could tell me that, and I couldn't tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt that you're crazy. I could see both teams making it. And the weird thing about Indiana is they have 0 5-star players. All they have is 3 and 4-star players, mostly 3-star, a few 4-stars, but mainly 3-star and no 5-star players. And with this day and time, with the NIL being like it is, and you see these high recruits jumping all over, it's hard to believe that Indiana, they've got portal players, but not 5-star portal players. But they're up there competing for a national championship with 0 5-star players. And I am fantastic, Harley. Hopefully you are as well. And yes, Chesley, you're right. Tomorrow is Halloween. I'll be on the radio tomorrow night calling high school football. It's the last game of the regular season where I am. Also at noon on NBC, Rutgers and Illinois, Duke and Clemson on the ACC network. And earlier in the week, Clemson was favored to win that game. They may still be. I don't know. I just hear this stuff sometimes. But, you know, I don't know if they still are or not. But anybody that has Clemson picked to win anything right now is crazy. When Clemson plays Furman end of next month, right now I'd have Furman picked to beat Clemson. I wouldn't pick Clemson to beat anybody. Apparently, the people that decide who's favored to win has not watched Clemson play a football game this year. Harley, I've got to go to work tomorrow, get off work at job number 1, and then go do high school football tomorrow night. So I'll be gone from before sun up until way after sundown tomorrow. And Chesley, if you ain't supposed to date, I wouldn't tell anybody. We also have Central Florida and Baylor on ESPNU. And the other 2 teams I mentioned a few minutes ago, Navy and North Texas on ESPN2 at noon. And these 2 teams are battling for that group of 5 playoff spot along with Memphis. And if Navy wins, they're still undefeated. And I don't know if they lose a game. But if North Texas wins, you're going to have Memphis, Navy, and North Texas right there neck and neck. And keep supporting your Seminoles, Chesley, because the way they've played the last couple of years, they need it. And then a weird start time for this game, 1 o'clock on TNT, Arizona State and Iowa State. Should be a good game between 2 just average football teams, but you don't see many 1 o'clock kickoff times, especially for a nationally televised game. And I do have a game after work. Harley, I do high school football and basketball for a radio station, and I've got a game tomorrow night, 3 o'clock on the CW, Louisville and Virginia Tech. Now let's go to 3:30 time slot. 3:30 on CBS, Indiana and Maryland. And thank you, Harley. I appreciate that. The team needs that good luck charm. And I'll see you. If you come back Monday night, I'll talk to you on Monday night. Chesley, have yourself a wonderful Halloween weekend at 3:30 ABC, Georgia and Florida. ESPN, Notre Dame against Boston College, who is just absolutely awful. Fox has Texas Tech and Kansas State. 3:45 on ESPN2, Virginia and California. 4 o'clock on the SEC Network, Mississippi State and Arkansas. And Harley, I don't play. I do color commentary, so I am not 18 because I don't play. I just talk about the game. 7 o'clock on ESPN, South Carolina and Ole Miss. Purdue and Michigan on the Big Ten Network. 7:30 on ESPN2, Georgia Tech and NC State. ABC, Oklahoma, and Tennessee, NBC, USC, and Nebraska, and the ACC network, Wake Forest, and Florida State. Yes, I do, Harley. Coming up in December, we'll be celebrating 14 years of marriage. If you go to my YouTube channel and type up Ref Brandon and the Todd Family, and it comes up, there's a picture in the left-hand corner. That's me and my wife in that picture. And then 10:15 on ESPN is Cincinnati and Utah. So again, I don't think there's any exceptional games on the schedule this weekend, but I think it's cluttered with good games. So it's games that you want to watch, but there's not a game where you feel like you have to watch. There's not a game where you think is must see TV, at least on the schedule. Now, there's always some games that, don't look very good on the schedule or look average on the schedule, end up being a really good game. But there's just no game this weekend that, jumps out at you. You had a couple you thought before the season started, like Ohio State and Penn State, until, Penn State just fell apart. And then back in the day, Georgia and Florida was a good game. But Florida's just been so bad the last couple of years that I just don't know if this will be a good game. Now, I will say Georgia's defense this year is nothing to what it normally is, and that should give Florida a chance. But Florida's just so bad, I don't think Georgia has to have a good defense to stop Florida, because Florida just ain't got a very good offense. So not spectacular games, but not terrible games. Just a bunch of good football games on the TV this weekend. Any more thoughts on any of this? Please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. A man walks into a hardware store, picks up a can of fly spray, and asks the assistant, "Is this good for wasp?" "No, it kills them." Daniel, you might be right. I told somebody at work today that, Ohio State right now is giving up 6 points a game. And even though their offense is not as good this year as it was last year, when you're only giving up 6 points a game, you don't have to have a spectacular offense. As long as you got one that's decent, that doesn't turn the ball over. If you give up 6 points a game, you're going to be hard to beat. So, if you tried hard, you could sell me that the Buckeyes win it all again just because their defense is so good. But I keep waiting for that one game, because most teams have it, where you have a bad game on defense. And when that happens, what's their bad game? Is their bad game 14? Is it 17? Because if on a bad game they give up 17, then they're going to win it all again. But if they have a bad game and they give up 30, I can see them losing. But it's just hard for me to believe that they're going to go through the entire regular season and not give up but 6 points a game. That's pretty doggone impressive. And your granddad plays golf. And Harley, I know some people that play golf, and the ones that play it are really, 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 really into it and play on a consistent basis. And they're a hardcore golf players. They don't just play every 4 or 5 months. They're playing, at least once a week. But until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them.